Hey, what's up? My name is Alex, I'm a music producer, and today I'm going to listen to the music of Honkai Impact for the first time and break it down for you for what I noticed in it. This video has been requested by the amazing people over at Patreon, where you can ask me to analyze any piece of music from any game you like. Let's go with Moon Halo. I don't know anything about this game, and I'm not gonna fake as if I do. I just know it's connected to Genshin Impact somehow, but nothing more. Oh yeah, the music is by HOYOMiX. Okay.
Somewhere shrouded by the night, the sun will shine.
Beautiful use of oxymoron. The lyrics are referencing, deserts and the ocean, the sun and the night, a bird that flew high and now is on the ground, dead. I suppose this song is gonna be quite tragic, I guess. But I do love the way it also sounds kind of pure because of the singers, which are two singers on one song. And the thing I like also is these beautiful guitar arpeggios in the background. And the ballad piano seems kind of classic. Let's see where it goes. Okay. Wow. Beautiful instrumentation. Oh. Okay, I suppose I won't understand the lyrics as much because I haven't played Honkai Impact. It's clear that this track is about two different characters. Doesn't sound like a theme for one character, but a theme that represents their relationship, or maybe the relationship to this world. Because what I'm noticing is that these vocals, they're kind of static in terms of like the vibe they're going for. They sound very pure, almost naive in a way, and very fragile, and they stay like that, until now at least. But what I like is that the way the context changes around them. I love how this part started with the single vocal playing by itself, and then right after you have this bass, and most especially you have this beautiful piano arpeggio. So now we feel like the context has gotten so much bigger and more intense, and the vocals are reaching higher also, while still maintaining the same vibe. So I feel like what they're representing is these two fragile characters that go through so much, is what I'm feeling. Also, the lyrics are referencing that, but I love the way in which the instrumentation is referencing it. What I also feel is that there's some beauty in their struggle, or maybe in themselves as they go through the struggle. Notice the embellishments on the strings. That sort of like transition, I suppose you would call that a legato slur. And it happens when you take a string instrument and while you're playing a note, you slide your finger down to the next one very gently so that you can hear all the tones in between those two notes. It's like letting yourself feel all the emotions that go from one point to another. And the result is very beautiful. This is also something the singers do when they sing, and I suppose the singers are doing it in this song too. And this is very tragic with the video. Okay. I see what they're doing. It seems like they're trying to open up the track bit by bit. Those drums are quite simple, but they have a very important role, I think. They create a lot of space in the track. In fact, they feel like a spice that if you add it to a dish, it adds a whole new flavor. The reason for it is that they added quite a bit of reverb on the drums compared to everything else. A good example for this is Guiding Light by Muse. The drums have this beautiful gated reverb that creates a lot of space. That felt way more dramatic than in here, but I think the concept is the same. They're trying to add space, and let's see where this goes. Oh, beautiful harmonies. Okay. Man. I love the way they go crazy with the harmonies there. I have to say this track is very different from anything else I heard from HOYOMiX before, especially in terms of like cutscene themes or boss battle themes. I'm thinking back to La Signora from Genshin Impact, which is a track that has a romantic side to it. But also sounds dangerous as heck. Hi. I am visibly scared. But also after that, there's a section that makes you feel the despair of this character. You have all these contrasting emotions that are in the same song and describe all the intricacies of this character so freaking well, to a point that I could even guess about the character's story just by listening to the music. Here, I don't find myself doing the same because it's very hard. This song is very static. It feels more like it talks about something the two characters are going through at this moment, but it's not their whole story, obviously. That said, however, this track keeps on evolving in intensity, and I suppose probably by the end it's going to sound even bigger than this. And it reminds me of a track by a band that I like called Anathema, and the track is called Lightning Song. You have these beautiful clean vocals with these guitars that are not necessarily super dark, but they create a lot of vibe and strong emotion. It's this song. Although there's a substantial difference between that track and this one tends to be more intimate, more acoustic. There's not a lot of reverb and a lot of post-processing on it, while Lightning Song by Anathema, despite being very clean, it still sounds freaking huge. And that's one thing that I really like. Let's see how this goes, though. Ooh, the drummer is going kind of crazy. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Ooh, that bass though. I love those high notes on the bass there. That is such a beautiful way to link to the next phrase, and it, in a way, nostalgically reminds me of a track from Coldplay, Got to Put a Smile Upon Your Face, where the bass plays around that range quite a lot. And I don't know, I just like the sound of it. So when I heard that, I was like, wow. It's not a track that sounds necessarily huge and crazy and dark and all the stuff, but they're adding small details like that, while also retaining that simplicity that makes it relatable to pretty much everybody, I guess. Let's see where this goes next. It could go through interesting places though, if they want to. Wait, again? Okay. There's a new repetition with more harmonies. What I would have done personally to justify this repetition even more is to modulate. So basically do something like this. Pop songs do this a lot. When they have to repeat a certain section, they modulate one semitone or two semitones higher. It does sound cheesy, but it gives extra energy, extra intensity, and a reason for the repetition to occur. I'm not a huge fan when that happens for no reason, but it did happen for a reason here. They decided to do this again and add more layer to the vocals. So let me listen to the rest of the vocals now, because maybe there's something cool in there. Yeah, I love this. Oh, okay. You catch that? There's so much going on here. Like, you have the normal vocal singing, the normal line.
Into a moon that always tells the warmth and brightness of the sun. May all the beauty be blessed.
But then on top of that, you have some ad-libs. Ad-libs is when you take normal vocals and you add something on top of it just to make sure that people really hear a certain phrase, or, you know, you want to hype it up.
Into a moon that always tells the warmth and brightness of the sun. May all the beauty be blessed.
One interesting thing about this track is how acoustic it sounds in a way. Like, there's not a lot of post-processing on the vocalists, for example. When I write music with my own vocals, I add a lot of post-processing on them because I suck. So I have to compensate like that. So I sound sort of like this with my post-processing.
Immortal temptation takes over my mind. Condemn.
But in this case, they are left kind of almost clean, so pure and pristine, just as they are. Maybe with this level of clarity, they're trying to represent the fact that the protagonists are very pure and innocent. I don't know, honestly, what they're trying to do. But I do appreciate that. There's another game that did this, where it had a large degree of singers, and for the most part, their vocals were very unprocessed. I'm talking about Neo The World Ends With You. For example, there's a track called Breaking Free that sounds like this in the game. There's really not a lot of post-processing on the vocals because these singers do not need it, and Takeharu Ishimoto, the composer, probably just wanted us to witness how good they are without post-processing. And if you want proof of that, by the way, I think the composer Takeharu Ishimoto and Masakimura, the vocalist, are working on a unplugged arrangement of the same track. They uploaded a preview on YouTube, and this is what it sounds like. Like, that gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. And when composers do this, they put vocals in the forefront and they're clean and everything, they are very confident in the level of talent of the vocalists. And I have to say, these two vocalists do have that. That said, no shame at all, by the way, for those who do use post-processing. I think most vocalists in the world use that. And some songs just need that, because maybe you have instruments that are so huge that you do need to post-process your vocals to make them stand out in the arrangement. But I have incredible respect for those singers that sound great even without it. And I'm not among them, sadly. Maybe one day. Please modulate. It didn't modulate. That could have ended like this instead. To end blessed on an uplifting major modulation. It would have made that single word have so much weight to it, and it would have given something to this track that I think is lacking. This track's chord progression is kind of stable. It stays in place and keeps on repeating and doesn't really take you to somewhere new, almost ever. So a modulation at the end would have been that thing that takes you to a new site. However, when you write music for a video game, one thing you have to keep in mind is that you have to write something that represents what's going on. So I suppose they didn't add interesting chord progression because maybe the scene didn't need it or couldn't have it. Maybe the message that they're trying to say needs to stay in that specific field and cannot go somewhere else. So when you're composing for a game or a film scene or whatever, you have to take your ego aside for a bit and do things as they're meant to be done for that specific scene. But what I'm saying in this video is just for the purpose of music alone, as someone who's not experiencing it in the game. Although I did feel like in this part, it really asks for it. It's really trying to go there, and then it just stays minor and stays sad. Maybe that's exactly what they're trying to represent, though. Maybe they're trying to make you feel like there is hope for things to change, but then no, they don't. They stay like that, and you're just sad. You just cry. That's the vibe I'm feeling from this track. It feels very tragic and very sad. But yeah, that's my take on this track. It's a good track. Not necessarily my style. I don't really see myself listening to this many other times over. But it was an interesting track to dissect, as it was different from most of the tracks I talk about on this channel anyway. So special thanks to the people who requested this over at the Patreon request thread. And special thanks to the 400 people who are supporting the channel right now over at Patreon. It's crazy, there's so many of you who are so looking forward to each next video that I make here. I really appreciate it. I love to talk about music to you. I love to inspire people to try to make music, and I love to get composers to feel the praise they deserve. By the way, guys, if you want to request any track from any video game you like, there's a new request thread coming over at Patreon right now. So go over there, write me your request, and sometime in the future, I'm gonna pick one and make an analysis about it. For now, I'll see you in the next video.